name is Samantha Talbert. Tonight we'll be talking about a variety of manual restraints that you can do on a horse when they are being disobedient or disrespectful when being worked on by a handler or a farrier or a vet. Some types of manual restraints that you can do include a flat halter, a rope halter, a chain over the nose, a lip chain, a rope twitch, a shoulder roll, a foot lift, lip twine, verbal restraint, and chemical restraint. Generally, when you're doing a manual restraint, you want to start off with the mildest restraint possible. For most industries, that basic manual restraint is your flat halter, as Patsy here is demonstrating for us. It is the easiest and usually most common thing to get your hands on to catch your horse to restrain it while you are working or handling it. Depending on your industry, depends on what your basic restraint is. For Western, our next manual restraint up from the flat halter would be the rope halter. For other industries, they don't allow the rope halter, but they would go to different kinds of restraints next. When doing a manual restraint, you usually want your handler on the same side as the person working on the horse. So for instance, my handler would be on the same side as me, whereas I am on the opposite side. But for this demonstration today, our handler is either going to be standing behind me, so on the same side, or she's going to be on the opposite side for videoing purposes. When using a manual restraint on your horse, there is always a chance of causing some kind of harm. Whether this harm is physical, trainer, or mental will all depend on what restraint is used and how abusive it is. The first manual restraint I'm going to demonstrate is chain over the nose. Whenever you're doing chain over the nose, you want to try and be as quiet as possible while sliding your chain through the loops in your halter. Most of your loops on a lot of your halters are metal, and metal against metal cracks and clinks, and that causes noise. Some horses tend to freak out whenever they hear that noise, as they have either had bad experiences with chain over the nose, or they don't like the noise itself. So to start with, I'm going to ask my handler to scoot back, and I'm going to already have my rope prepared. I have it bundled in one hand, and I have my chain curled in the other, so whenever I go to loop it through, it's easy to slide it through. I'm going to start by going through the bottom loop on this side and pulling it back up towards me. I'm then going to step over across the horse, so I'm just going to work this through nice and quiet. And then I'm just going to hold on to it. I don't want to let it slide. So now I'm going to trade. I'm going to hold on to my chain and bring my rope underneath, so that way it's out of the road. So what I'm looking for here is to have that chain cross over the nose. So as you can see, I went through the bottom and up through, so now I'm going to come in through the back side, down through, all while holding my chain. That way I have that cross. I'm then going to slide it through the top ring. And because of the length of my chain and the size of her face, I'm going to double it back and buckle it to itself. With the clasp facing the outside, that way it does not turn and cut into her skin. So then as I work it back across, it is nice and tight, and I have 2 to 3 links here on for a handle. Generally, you want anywhere from 1 to 5 links. To undo our chain over the nose, I'm going to step back across, out of the way of her nose bumping range. I'm going to unclip my clasp, and I'm just going to feed it back through nice and quiet, same way I put it in, and holding onto it all at the same time. And that's how you do a chain over the nose. The next manual restraint we are going to do is a lip chain, also known as a gum or stud chain. In order to do a lip chain, you're going to run it similar to a chain over the nose. You're going to go through the bottom link but we're not going to cross it over the nose this time. You still want to keep it quiet. Again, just working it through, holding on to it, trying not to let it cling. So my chain's going to go over my nose, and I'm going to keep tension on it. I'm going to run it straight through our bottom clasp. Don't let it slide off your nose if you can. And we're just going to hook it to this top ring. The reason we want to hook it to the top ring is because of the location of where the bottom ring is to the mouth and the length of our clasp. Doing a lip chain, we are going to slide the chain up against the horse's gum, between the gum and the lip, up as far as we can get it. If we have our clasp down next to our mouth, and if we have to use and get the horse's attention, it can slide into the horse's mouth, and where it does not bend, it can cause more damage than it would good. So now I'm just going to let this chain slide out. I've got my 3 fingers here to aid. I'm going to keep my tension on, and I'm just going to stick my fingers up underneath her gum, and I'm just going to work that up in there with gentle tension on my other arm. And I'm going to check my links and make sure that they're all nice and flat, as this is a very tender area in the horse's mouth. And we want to make sure that they are flat and not twisted, as this can cause more pressure. We also want to keep consistent pressure down on the chain to prevent it from falling out of the horse's mouth, and to also keep it from pulling it straight back like it would have been. So now that we know that this is in its correct spot, I'm going to let it out, and she's just going to spit it out. So I'm going to cross back under, holding on to my chain again, and unwind it, same as you would a chain over the nose. This is often the restraint used on some studs due to the fact that the gum being a tender area, and studs oftentimes being high strung, it allows for more control and more restraint over them. The next kind of restraint I am going to demonstrate is a lip twine, or in this case, a lace or a string. Twine is oftentimes the easiest thing to find around a bond, as it holds a lot of your hay bales or alf bales together, making it very accessible. In order to use a lip twine, a lip twine, you are going to use it very similarly to a lip chain, except we're going to start it in a little different manner. To start off with, I'm going to run it through the bottom ring on the off side, which is the right side. If you had a piece of twine, you would do a basic square knot, which I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate with this lace. And I'm going to go ahead and cross over, leaving some slack in it, and go ahead and slide it through the bottom ring on this side. You're going to run it pretty similar to your lip twine. I'm going to open up her gum, and you're just going to slide it up in there. And again, pulling straight down and keeping even tension. This is sometimes a little easier to get your hands on than a lip chain, just for the simple fact that you don't have the extra rope in hand, and you don't have to worry about the links against the band, although some people might say that a lip string or twine is more harsh than a lip chain. And you would just untie your square, and you would do the exact same thing with this, with a piece of twine instead of a piece of lace.
Go.
So the next twitch I'm going to demonstrate is the rope twitch. Here at William Woods, we use a rope twitch instead of a chain twitch, just for the simple fact that it's less severe, and also whenever you're in a dangerous scenario or if you're in a hurry. Whenever you go to use the rope twitch, you can twist it either direction, versus with some chain twitches, you can only twist it one direction, and if in a hurry you forget which direction you have to twist it, or you twist it the wrong direction, it can get caught or stuck, therefore missing your window of opportunity and causing the situation to get more dangerous than it already is. So whenever I go to do a twitch, you're going to rub your horse on the nose, to make sure that you can touch the nose. A, you always want to make sure that you can touch whatever part of the body you're getting ready to mess with before you actually go ahead and do it. I'm going to put my first 3 fingers of my hand inside my rope twitch, or my loop, just for the simple fact that this way it can't fold down my arm, versus if I stuck my pinky and my thumb in there, it would fold down my arm. Some people like to stick their thumb in there, which is still appropriate for the simple fact that with your pinky out, it still can't fold down your arm. I like to leave my thumb in the loop just for the simple fact that it aids in helping me grab the horse's lip and pull it out, and then allows me to twist easier and make sure my fingers are all out of the road. So my fingers are already ready. I'm going to walk up to my horse. I'm going to mess with her lip, make sure I can touch it. See, she's already given it to me. So I'm going to get my fingers all out of it first. And then I've got all my fingers out, so I'm starting my twist. And I'm going to hold it underneath my elbow. And then I'm going to step back and hold it with 2 hands. And I'm going to count to 3. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to release. So that was a good twitch hold. If you know, you can hold it for 3 seconds. The reason whenever I got a hold of her nose, I stepped back and away with 2 hands is that way I'm farther away from her. It gives me more distance. And that way I'm not up close to her. Whenever you offer to hold a twitch for someone, you want to be sure that you are confident and you're experienced and you're not going to let go. Because if you let go during any 3 stages of timing for the twitch, the horse can lose its mind or react, and then it can turn into a bat or a weapon. And with a wooden handle, that can be very deadly, or at least it's going to hurt a lot. The 3 stages that you want to be aware of whenever you're twitching a horse is the distraction stage, the analgesic stage, and the blow stage. So pretty much what these stages indicate is the amount of time that a twitch is on a horse's nose. So whenever you're putting a twitch on a horse's nose, whether it be a rope or a chain twitch, you're cutting off the circulation to their nose for a brief period of time. For the first 3 to 5 minutes, which is the distraction stage, it is exactly as it says. It distracts the horse from whatever the handler or vet or farrier is trying to do to the horse for whatever reasons, to keep them distracted and to help prevent them from hurting someone, and also to make it easier. Your next few minutes, which are from 5 to 10 minutes, is your analgesic stage, which is where endorphins are released into the horse's body, pretty much relaxing them and allowing them to take a breather and forget what's going on and put them in happy land, so to say. Oftentimes they will kind of drop their head and they'll have a glazed eye and they'll look very relaxed. After 10 minutes, you want to start being wary from your 10 to 12 minute range, as this can often be the blow stage. For some horses the blow stage is anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes. Pretty much what this means is that after 10 minutes, the endorphins in your horse's body start to wear off, and now the nose begins to hurt. It's no longer a distraction, it no longer feels good, it just starts to hurt because you're cutting off the circulation to their nose. If your horse blows up for whatever reason, you don't want to let go of your twitch to begin with until your handler and everybody is out of the way. And you also want to keep a timer. That way it allows you to keep track of the amount of time that has passed whenever you started with your twitch, and that way you can also help keep everybody safe. Another twitch that is similar to the rope or chain twitch is the humane twitch, which it does the same job as a rope or a chain twitch, but you don't have to have as many people to do it. Like for instance, you have my handler here and I who are holding on to this horse, and then we would have our third person who would be, for say, clipping or doing vet work or doing farrier work if the horse is not very well farriered. This would allow you to squeeze your horse's nose between your scissors or through grippers. Your rope then threads down through your 2 handles and allows you to squeeze and apply pressure. You would stick it over your horse's nose and clinch it down, and then you would wrap it around your handles to get it nice and tight and help hold the pressure in place. You would then continue to tie it off through this first loop, which is very handy whenever you're having to do something by yourself. But then if you forget your timer, or you forget to set a timer, or you don't keep track of your time and your horse hits that blow stage and reacts, it is then very difficult to try and get this off of your horse's face while they are reacting, trying to get it off by themselves. The next twitch I'm going to demonstrate is the shoulder roll or shoulder twitch. So what this does is pretty much you want to make sure your fingernails are clipped A, because what you're doing is you're going to be grabbing a piece of the horse's skin and you're going to be rolling it into a fist, and pretty much what that does is it curls that horse's body around into a flex. So I'll go ahead and demonstrate it here. So you want to grab it towards the base of the shoulder, closer towards the shoulder, but not on the shoulder, as that's tighter. It's a lot harder to get hold of. So I'm going to grab right here, and I'm going to roll until she flexes, and there, see, she flexed away from me. So we're going to just let that rub out. And pretty much what this does is kind of freezes your horse into position, and it's a very easy, very handy tool to have, as it is just right there. Like, it doesn't require any twitch, any other mechanism. It's just a basic, grab the skin, roll your fist, and you're good. So we're just going to rub this out. The next twitch that I'm going to demonstrate is called a leg lift. So pretty much this is exactly as it applies. I'm going to lift up one of the horse's front legs depending on what leg is being messed with. So for instance, I am going to lift this front left leg if someone is wanting to do something with this horse's opposite front leg or same hind leg, but they won't keep that leg down. So therefore I would come up and I would let her know that I'm here. And then what you're going to do is you're going to lean away from your horse, and you're going to point that toe up. So I've got my weight supported in my knees, I'm kind of bent away from her, and her toe is up. The purpose for keeping her toe up is for the simple fact that if she gets that toe down, if she wanted to, she could stomp that foot down easy as you please. So I'm going to hold her toe up. I've got my fingers interlocked, which gives me a better grip. I've got my weight rocked back onto the balls of my feet, and I've got myself supported. So then that works for farrier work, that work, but again, you want to use, if you're working on a hind leg, you want to be on the same side as the person working on the hind leg, and if they're working on the front leg, you want to be on the opposite front leg. When doing a leg lift, you never want to pick up a hind leg, just for the simple fact that your hind legs are more dangerous, and your horses can also stand on diagonals. Whenever you pick up a hind leg, just because of the way you pick it up, it is a lot harder to keep your toe tipped up, and that is also their power end of their body. So it makes it just a lot harder to keep that leg on the ground. Another kind of twitch that you can do is called an ear twitch, although here at William Woods we do not do that. Just for the simple fact that whenever you use an ear twitch, you're grabbing the ear and you're twisting it. And if you twist too hard, you can damage the cartilage and the horse's ear. And a lot of times, whenever you twist an ear, the horse freezes in position in fear of hurting its ear. The reason we do not use this here at William Woods is for the simple fact that it makes the horse head shy. If you have to clip the ears for any kind of showing, she would not be letting me do this right now. She would not be letting me sit here and mess with this ear. So the last restraint that we are going to talk about tonight is chemical restraint. You want to save your chemical restraints for last in any kind of situation, as you want to save it as a last resort. The three kind of chemicals that you can use on a horse is acepromazine, rompin, and ditomidine. On acepromazine and rompin, you only want to use 1 to 4 cc's IV and IM, and on ditomidine you want to use 1/4 to 1/2 cc IV or IM, as it is a much stronger chemical.